Alright, welcome back to the Cascadia cab. Just had a nice delicious can. What is this stuff? Great Value roast beef. My wife bought that for me the other day. I had one just like it. It's mostly broth. I'm trying to lose a few pounds. I just went to the doctor. He said, open your mouth and say oink. I think he's trying to tell me something. No, but anyway, trying to stay trim and fit for the road, right? So today, here from the cab of the Cascadia, thought we'd talk about knowing your numbers. And sorry about all the traffic. I'm here. I'll just give you a little background on what I've done this week. Left southern Indiana and went to Austin, Texas, and down to San Antonio with the office furniture. And then I reloaded at San Antonio Airport, at UPS terminal, with these big air freight containers. I used to haul them a lot. I've not been going to Texas much lately. They go back to the UPS in Louisville. I think that's the biggest UPS hub in the country. Big air freight containers. They're about 8 feet wide, 10 feet long, and about 6 feet tall. They put 5 of them in your trailer, so they weigh nothing. So that's what I'm taking back to Louisville. I think they may call it a week. It's kind of a short week. So I left really early. I left about 4 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. I'll be home by, I don't know, 5 or 6 Thursday afternoon. So I had a really long week last week. Well, it was 5 days, but it was just scrambling. It was 2,500 miles up to Chicago. Can't remember if I told you this, I'll tell you. Went up to Chicago, 7 stops in Chicago, to Des Moines, to Omaha, finished out in Omaha. And then I deadheaded, which was a long deadhead, to Norfolk, Nebraska, home of Johnny Carson. Reloaded, took that to Louisville. Reloaded in Edinburgh, Indiana. Took it back up to, I can't remember the town, right around Franklin, Wisconsin. Then I reloaded in Franklin, Wisconsin, went down to Indianapolis and finished my week. And then it's about 90, 100 miles deadhead back home. So I didn't have too much deadhead. Had about, I don't know, maybe 150 miles of deadhead and 2,500 miles, so that's not bad. But I killed it last week. I had probably one of the best weeks I've ever had as far as being just working 5 days. I had a really good week. So this is a pretty good week. So bad weather coming in and things, and I've got a few things to do to the truck, and I think we're just going to call it a earlier week. I'll do 4 days this week and still make good money. Anyway, this video is about knowing your numbers and figuring your cost per mile. And I'll just tell you that the accounting I use is Kevin Rutherford's accounting program called Profit Gauges. That's what I've used for, I don't remember, when did I start that? 2015? Yeah. I think I started it in 2015. So I like it. It's called Profit Gauges, like I mentioned. It's truck specific, and it's what it works good for is a single truck owner operator leased to a company, or a single truck owner operator with his own authority, running under his own numbers like I am. And it breaks everything down. It's very, like I said, it's just for trucks. It's truck specific. I've had QuickBooks. I don't like QuickBooks. I had it for a while and I don't like it. I've got another thing I use my invoicing for, and then I use Profit Gauges. So when you start out, you put your beginning mileage, your ending miles, how many nights you spent out on the road, and how many personal miles you used in your car going to get parts or anything like that. And you do that, and that's what figures your cost per mile. So basically, whatever you spent on maintenance divided in how many miles you drove for the month, that's the cost per mile for that certain thing. do that for your truck and trailer payments. You do that for your insurance. It breaks everything down from fixed cost to variable costs. Fixed costs would be truck payment, insurance payment, things like that. Variable cost would be fuel, maintenance, things like that. And it goes month to month, and you can back up year to year. And so why it's so important to know your numbers. This past year, 2020, starting in the second quarter is when the pandemic really started affecting trucking to me for my back hauls. On my head hauls, like I mentioned, is office furniture, stays even pretty much. But my back hauls were just dirt cheap. I think they were for everybody, and a lot of people stayed home. That goes into knowing your cost per mile, though, because I know what it takes to move this truck down the road, and as long as I'm above that, of course, if it was 5 cents above that, I probably would be staying home also, but it was still well above that. But I don't do my books until the end of the month. So for January's, I just did January, I think this past weekend. Yeah, I just did January. So you finish a month and do your books for that month. So in April, my point of this is, I know I ramble. My point of this is even though I'm thinking about this all the time, my numbers, how's the business doing, but you don't know unless you track it close. So here's April of 2020. I'm running around doing my normal thing. These back hauls are cheap as dirt, but I figure the cheapest freight is nothing in the box. Hauling something home, as long as it's better than what it cost you to move the truck down the road, is better than nothing. So I was still taking them. Meanwhile, fuel was going down. As we all know, April, May, June, fuel was dirt cheap. It's still pretty cheap, but it's going up every single week. So here I looked this off my profit gauges before I left home. So here's first quarter. I wrote this down now. I don't even remember. Okay, I see what I'm saying. I didn't want to give you my exact numbers. I don't want the criticism of it, because somebody will say they suck or something like that. I just don't want to hear it. But anyway, first quarter of 2020, I drove 27,561 miles, and my fuel cost was 27 cents a mile. So every mile I move this truck down the road, it's cost me 27 cents just in fuel. So I had a $7,300 fuel cost for January, February, March. Now here we come, April, May, June, and I'm thinking, man, this is horrible. This is terrible what I'm making. So I do my books for April, and I think, wow, because you put in all your inputs. And also with profit gauges, if you use fuel gauges, which is free, it's an app you can get on your phone. Every time you get fuel, you enter your gallons, what it costs, and it automatically knows what state you're in. When it comes IFTA time, you go on your home computer, you hit a button, it'll print out your whole IFTA report for that quarter. Also, it syncs in with your profit gauges, so I don't have to enter in anything. When I go to do my books for that month, all my fuel cost is already in there. It's nice and easy. So here we go, second quarter, April. I'm down in the dumps. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to do my books for April because I'm thinking they're going to be horrible. But what you don't realize is fuel dropped so much. I'll just do the whole quarter. Fuel dropped so much. It evened itself out. So there's a lot of people sitting at home, I think, that were thinking these rates suck, but you're not taking into consideration how much the fuel dropped. So like I mentioned, first quarter, $7,300 in fuel. Second quarter, $5,500 in fuel. So I went from 27 cents a mile in first quarter to 18 cents a mile second quarter. So, I mean, you do that you do that over 100,000 miles. My last video, when I was telling you about the fuel savings, I forgot to mention that. I'm basing everything off 100,000 miles. So if you go from 9 mile a gallon to 5 mile a gallon, that's $24,000 savings in 100,000 miles. So I forgot to mention that last time. So in this scenario, if it stayed like that the whole year, that's a $9,000 difference in fuel. So you wouldn't have to quite double it, but everything, whatever I gross, I only keep 60% of it. That's another thing. That's always my goal for the year, is to try to keep 60% of what I make, what I gross. That $9,000, you'd basically not have to double it, but make 40% more than that. So I said all that to say this: fuel was cheaper. I made a lot. Not a whole lot. I made 5,000 less. I made 5,000 less gross in second quarter than I did first. But I spent $1,800 less. So I was actually about, what is that, 500 or so to the better second quarter. So right there, if I wouldn't have had those numbers, if I wouldn't have kept such close track of them, one thing, I would have felt bad. I'm thinking I'm not making anything. And what if April came around and like, this isn't good, I'm just sitting at home. Think of the money I would have lost. I did better second quarter than I did first, even though my gross revenue was down. $5,000 down, and I still made more money. Okay, so there's the importance of knowing your numbers. That's a good example right there. I just don't know how you would run a business. I mean, you at least need to know your break-even money. I just had a friend, I'm not putting him down. Anybody can do. That's one thing about this. I'm just giving you an example of what I'm doing. If you don't want to do it, if you don't like what I'm saying, mention it down in the comments. Tell me where I'm wrong. But this is how I want to run my business, and maybe some of you else do. Because, I mean, if I didn't know what it even took to move the truck down the road, I don't know how it would bid work. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, and it's easy to do. But what I was saying is, and I'm not putting this guy down, I had a talk with him yesterday. We haul for the same people. And he said, did you get a 1099 from those people? I said, no, I didn't. Because I was mentioning I've got all my taxes figured. And I was going to go have them taken to my accountant this weekend. He said, did you get a 1099 from those people? I was like, no, I didn't get one. Well, he goes, what are we going to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? Because I guess technically they don't have to send you a 1099. And a 1099, for people that don't know, is when you haul for a broker, you're basically you are an independent contractor. So they send you a 1099 just showing what you made that year from them, what they paid you. And then they'll turn that in. So if you get one from a customer or a broker, you need to turn it in with your taxes and report that income. If not, I just throw it all as in lump income, and that's how you do it. But he had no idea. He used a factoring company. He had no idea what he had made from them. He just sends it to the factoring company. Now that was the deal. Let me back up. Back then, that was the only place he wasn't using a factoring company for. So the factoring company, at least when he sends his freight bills in, they keep track of it for him, what he made for every broker. But that place he wasn't. Well, he never kept track of it, and he has no clue what he even made from them. And I'm thinking, man, that would be hard to do business with. But that's his deal. I'm not criticizing him, but I wouldn't want to do that. So there's the importance of that. But anyway, I thought I'd just run over those things. I'm just trying to make regular videos, things that just pop off the top of my head. If you guys have any questions, be sure to ask them, and I'll help with you if you can. And if you have any criticism, like I said, put it down in the comments. So, hey, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.